I, female 30. Never really been my parents' favorite child. I have a younger sister who's 25. She's the princess of the family, as they call her. She got this title right after she's born. Due to favoritism issues, my relationship with her got worse growing up. As a result, we would see each other less, and then later we were going to get therapy, but that couldn't happen after I caught her with my ex-boyfriend of 8 years. In that moment, she was dead to me. She married him, and my parents kept asking us to reconcile, and finally have those therapy sessions that we agreed to have. I laughed it all off to keep my sanity. I then met my now husband and got married last week. My parents were invited, but my sister wasn't, obviously. My parents asked me to invite her, but I said no, and they didn't push. Besides, she wouldn't have come anyway, since she had a miscarriage recently and is in a bad mental state. My parents came to the wedding and started telling my guests the story of my sister's miscarriage in details. I told them to stop it, and let the guests enjoy and focus on the event at hand. My dad and mom got up and flat out announced it using the mic. I have to say I was caught by surprise. Dad grabbed the mic, and I had no idea what he or mom were going to say. I felt rage all over me. I looked at my husband and saw him looking down in frustration. I got fed. I walked up to my mom and dad and told them to leave. They looked stunned, asking why I was kicking them out and that they were here to celebrate me and my new husband. But I argued that they were here taking advantage of the fact that there's a large gathering to get attention and sympathy for their poor princess. Mom commented on my tone, saying it was condescending and I shouldn't speak about my sister like this. I told them to leave and threatened security if they refused. They ended up leaving but were so mad at me, and then the family got involved and said my actions were bitter and resentful and insensitive, and that I was taking my hate for my sister out on my parents, who cared enough to come celebrate my happy day with me. My uncle, he and his wife are infertile and consider my sister as their daughter, was furious, and some family members left the wedding earlier in support of my parents. It's been tense, and now I think I might have ruined my own wedding by acting in a mean-spirited way by kicking them out. Am I the a-hole? Should I have just swallowed this and not kicked them out? My friend, what you just described was a filter event. Everyone out of touch with reality thought that was normal and is mad at you. Everyone who thought that was bizarre stayed for you. Never again in your life will you find people so neatly and cleanly sorted into your real family and toxic lunatics. Not the a-hole. What the duck? Your parents are abhorrent. I can't even imagine being at a wedding and using the microphone to announce the miscarriage of somebody who wasn't even present. I think it's time to consider no contact, not the a-hole. Excuse me? Grab the mic at your wedding and announce the miscarriage? Everything else aside, that would be enough for me to go no contact with someone. Oh my God, OP, I'm so sorry. No, dear, you are not the a-hole, and don't worry, I am sure many of your guests found that abhorrent and would support you. My 22 male, fiancé, 21 female, and I just got engaged tonight. She was totally surprised and wasn't expecting me to propose for at least another 6 months since she finishes nursing school in about a year. We've been together for 8 months, but I wanted to get a jump start on wedding planning since she wants to get married as soon as she graduates. While we talked about rings and proposals in the past, she always said she wanted a real diamond. She has been adamant on a natural diamond, not lab-made, and no other stones other than diamonds. She was never specific on the type of cut she wanted, carat, or anything else other than she just wanted natural diamonds. With all of that being said, she knows I'm in the process of starting a software company and that I should be able to find something for $1,000 or less, based on my budget. At the time of our conversations, I thought nothing of it and figured that was accurate. When I started ring shopping, I wasn't even in the same universe with the budget I had. Even the online engagement rings that were supposedly more affordable were priced 3 times my expected budget. I ended up looking at fake diamond rings that looked like the real deal. Based on my research, I found that the sterling silver band with cubic zirconia as the stone was not only similar to the real deal, but it was only $20 on Amazon. I figured I can get this ring, and then when we're ready, I can just suggest that we upgrade the current ring she has, maybe 5 or 10 years from now. When she saw the ring, she loved it. She said it was exactly what she had dreamed of, and started asking about how I found a natural diamond that was so flawless and clear. I don't even remember the BS answer I came up with, but she rebutted with, "Where did you buy it? How much did it cost? Does it have a lifetime warranty?" I wasn't expecting this sort of interrogation, and now I'm having to keep track of all of the lies I've made since she has been talking about the ring all night. To make matters worse, both of our families were present for the proposal and engagement after party. They were impressed by my budget ring as well. I think she'll calm down with the questions after a week or so, and I really feel like the decision I made was the best option for our future from a financial standpoint. If I tell her, I know she'll be upset, but I don't think I'll need to since she'll never take the ring to have the diamonds tested or anything like that. It's not like anyone else knew the difference either. Am I the a-hole for thinking about this from a financial standpoint and setting up our future? Or will this blow up in my face somehow with the lies I've been having to tell? Well, first of all, marrying someone you've only known for 8 months is a very bad idea. For instance, you've probably never seen her really mad. You'll be able to experience that when she finds out you lied to her. You could have just been honest and said that what she wanted was way out of your budget, but you didn't, so here we are. A $20 ring is going to turn her finger green, and you'll be in deep stuff. Real rings come with certificates of authenticity. Best of luck. Well, silver tarnishes, so I think she's going to notice in a couple months that it's not white gold or platinum. I totally understand where you're coming from, but a $20 ring will be noticeably cheaper when it gets more used. Basically, she's going to know eventually. Are you sure you couldn't find anything in the free $50 to $500 range? That's still half your budget. I love jewelry, and I see lots of beautiful rings in that price range that would make wonderful engagement rings. My own engagement ring has white gold, platinum plated, which made it more affordable than a platinum ring. You're the a-hole for starting your marriage with a lie, not the a-hole for trying to save money. You're the a-hole, not for buying something cheap, but for lying about it. This is an engagement ring. So you started your life together with a lie? I, 45 female, lost my first husband Mike when I was 3 months pregnant with my youngest daughter Emily. I have 2 more, 5 male and 10 female. Mike died in what people would consider a tragic way. I met my second husband Jake when Emily was 10, and we got married when she was 15. I still have a great relationship with Mike's family. My eldest daughter Sarah got married 2 days ago. So during the family after ceremony party, I'm not sure what it's called abroad, a few of our family members, my dad, Mike's mom, and one of his brothers and my son, said a few speeches about her. It was all fine until my sister-in-law, Mike's sister, started her speech. She started talking about Mike, and the speech mentioned almost nothing about Sarah. The one thing mentioned about Sarah is how she is proud Sarah didn't replace Mike with Jake. Then she brought up the topic of Mike's death, and more accurately, how he died. Sarah always had nightmares and panic attacks about it, so we avoid that specific topic of him. And when my sister-in-law started going into detail about it, both she and my mother-in-law, Mike's mom, started having panic attacks. Jake and his siblings started telling sister-in-law to stop. Me, my siblings, and Mike's brothers were too busy with Sarah and mother-in-law. She wouldn't stop. Long story short, they finally had to kick her out of the wedding. But all of yesterday, I've had people calling me to ask me to apologize to sister-in-law, because according to them, while sister-in-law was wrong, it wasn't my husband's place to kick her out. So am I the a-hole? Because I'm still in shock after what happened. I don't think I'm thinking clearly. What the hell did I just read? So let me understand. Your first husband's sister decided at your daughter's wedding to make a tragic speech about her brother that's passed away for, I don't know, let me guess, 5+ years? And now your family wants you to apologize, but your daughter, the bride, had a full-blown panic attack at her wedding, and that's probably ruined all her other memories of what should have been the best day of her life. Am I right? Because if I am, you are definitely not the a-hole. Your sister-in-law is a witch. Not the a-hole. He may have not replaced Mike, but after that ceremony, Jake was there for your husband and as Sarah's stepfather, and he intervened on behalf of you and your daughter. He saw a fire that needed to be put out, and he did so. The only person who owes anyone an apology is your sister-in-law, who clearly was being too self-absorbed to read the room. Not the a-hole. The speech your sister-in-law gave was completely inappropriate and upsetting. You did the right thing by comforting those who needed it while letting your husband handle the sister-in-law. This past weekend, my girlfriend and I were invited by my parents to join them and my siblings at our lake house. Even though the relationship between my girlfriend and my family has been contentious in the year they've known her, we decided to go. It really comes down to my family values certain things and is a certain way, and my girlfriend is another. Whereas my family is all about just being introverted, doing your work, doing well in school. My girlfriend's very outgoing, very much has a certain appearance she likes to uphold, and didn't much care for school, and isn't working at the moment. I've been with her a year, been paying for her fun stuff for about 6 months now. We get to the lake late Friday, and immediately my mom, my 2 sisters, and my brother all start in on my girlfriend, and if she's looking for work. Why isn't she looking for work? Does she want to try college, etc., etc.? Saturday night comes, and we're just sitting around, and my mom looks at Morgan, girlfriend, and tells her she really needs to have a life goal, and that it worries her that the result of this relationship will be us married, me working, and Morgan just lounging around the house. My siblings unfortunately joined in, agreed with my mom. Morgan snapped, called my mom bitter and angry, pointed out to my sisters that they're in their 30s and single, and she said she sees them ultimately dying alone, and told my brother he wouldn't be crap without my dad hiring him. She demanded I take her home. We packed our things and left. All this week I've been getting calls and texts demanding she apologize. She knows they want an apology, and she feels she said nothing wrong. I've told everyone I can't force her and won't force her to apologize. We're both 25, by the way. Am I the a-hole? I'm gonna go everyone sucks here, but especially your girlfriend. Hear me out. She is 25, and her parents and you split her bills. She has no plan other than that. Your family should never have treated her that way, especially as a guest. But their concerns are valid. Her reaction was extreme, but given the circumstances I get it. But also, how is she comfortable being a mooch, and what exactly does she think will happen for her financially? Is she going to solely rely on you for everything? Is that something you want? I think your girlfriend is giving major red flags, but your family should know how to be respectful, even if you don't like someone. Everyone sucks here. Your family has a point. This girl has never worked and doesn't seem like she ever will. From the perspective as a girl in a relationship, your family sucks butts, and you're not the a-hole. But on the other hand, from the perspective of your family, you're dating this dead log of a person who doesn't support themselves and expects you to. Does she have any ambitions? Or is she just waiting for the world to work out for her? If you were my brother, I'd be fairly concerned you were settling down with a dead-end user. I've been in a relationship with my partner Ed for 10 years. Ed is an only child and has very little family, so he is extremely close to his parents, especially his ma, Louise. My relationship with Louise is civil, but I've always felt uncomfortable around her. She'll often comment on my looks. These comments are unprompted and aren't nice. She'll say things like, "You don't try to pretty yourself up with makeup," or "Why don't you do something nice with your hair?" I often end up feeling icky after leading Ed's parents home, and Ed has noticed this. But he'll often say that her comments aren't meant to be mean, and he doesn't try to see things from my point of view. He said things like, "My mom says things about your hair because you have straight hair, and she knows you could do so much with it, and she has curly hair and can't style it however she wants like you could." I don't want to go with him to his parents' home because it's so unpleasant, but I know how much his family means to him, so I suck it up. A few days ago, Ed and I were at his parents' home for supper. I had worked that day, but I tried to change my updo a bit by quickly putting my hair in a half ponytail on our way to his parents' home. Right before supper, I, Ed, and Louise were on their porch when she said, "You would look so much nicer if you would cut your hair. Why do you have long hair if you don't do anything with it?" I just stood there because I'm so used to hearing comments like this, and Ed also didn't say anything. Minutes later, I noticed that he was looking at my hair oddly, and he asked his mom, not me, "Why does her part look so weird?" Talking about the part created by my half ponytail. And she said to him, "Her part is not straight. She clearly didn't take the time to make a nice part when she put up her hair." And all of this was said while I was right beside them. I was between them, so there was no reason to not address me directly. My feelings were hurt by this point, and I'd had enough of this treatment from Louise, and now Ed. So I said, "Why are you guys so obsessed with my looks?" And I decided to leave. Later that day, Ed asked me why I left. I explained that I was sick of these types of comments from his mom, and that I felt like he and his mom were mean to me. He said he didn't realize how, but I should make it up to his mom because she was now crying because I left abruptly. I said I didn't think I should apologize for how they acted, and he said I was making things worse. Am I the a-hole for leaving right before supper and not apologizing? I don't think this should matter in the treatment I'm getting, but I work in a lab, so I'm not allowed to wear makeup, and my hair needs to be tied up when I work. Also, Louise barely wears makeup, and she never styles her hair, so I don't understand why she feels like she can criticize my looks. I always look presentable when I visit his parents. I wear nice clothes, and I don't look unkempt. Not the a-hole. Ed needs to stand up to his mother regarding her treatment of you. You are an important person in Ed's life. 10 years. There's no excuse why his mother is still treating you this way. This may end up as a deal breaker if you choose to continue with the relationship, especially if you decide to get married. I would really talk to him and how uncomfortable you are. This behavior isn't normal. You wearing makeup shouldn't warrant these rude comments. You didn't do anything wrong. I assume Ed is used to letting his mom control things and not standing up to her. not the a-hole, but 10 years is a very long time for you to put up with this, and it sounds like you need to communicate more clearly with her and or Ed about it. Why haven't you asked her to stop before now? It's rude of her to comment, and it would be better if you didn't have to, but as a strategy, not saying anything clearly isn't working. And communicating that you want the behavior, criticism, towards you to stop is far better than bolting it up and then exploding at them when it gets too much. Really, Ed should be the one having the conversation because it is his mother. If you do end up discussing it with her, it may be best to be as polite as you can about it to her face. She might brush it off as she doesn't mean anything bad by it, but that doesn't matter. What matters is the criticism is bothering you and it needs to stop. If the comments continue once you have been very clear and specific about you wanting them to stop, then you may need to reevaluate whether or not you really want this woman in your life for the rest of your life.